Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to Game Changers, already causing me problems. I'm Steve Goldstein. It is playoff time in South Florida. The Heat and Panthers, what a ride. Both are one win away from reaching the conference finals, but both lost on the first try to do so on Wednesday night. Of course, Game Changers, the crew is here. Kim Bocamper, Samantha Rivera. You got a little Andy Reid look going to you here.
Throw me a cheeseburger and you never know. Maybe I'll be doing a commercial on an airplane, putting a marker on somebody's face.
Oh, believe me, if there was a job available.
Well, it doesn't need
that's
to be.
who I learned with.
It doesn't need to be a job. They just need to pay me.
That's it. You know what they say, Samantha? There's no I in team, but there's two I's in invoice. Something you can always remember.
That is so true.
I learned that from him.
All right, Samantha, we hung out last night at the Panthers game. Trying to close it out. Not easy to beat a Toronto team 4 in a row. A game that could have gone either way, but the Leafs really did the job defensively.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was tough to watch because it just felt like they were out of rhythm. And I think, we've heard from the players and everybody how they don't get nervous around these big games, right? But then at the same time, I think they're human. Maybe they did have some nerves. Maybe there was pressure on them to be like, well, we got to win, our 7th one, and we got to close it out. Maybe got to them. I don't know. But at the same time, you'd heard from them last night too, and they said they don't have to change anything. And then Paul Maurice came out confident. I think they really can, even if it is on the road, they're going to be able to close it out.
I hope they can get that confidence into themselves because, it's still the Toronto Maple Leafs. And there's a tradition there with that hockey team. And their fans are going to demand something better than what they've seen out of these games so far. So to lose a game to them and give them a little momentum, I'm a little tense about this, Goldie, with this. I can see a little snowball turning into a big snowball, turning into an avalanche that we're not going to be happy about. I just hope they can, do what they were doing when they won the games. Play hard on the offensive side, check as much as you can on the defensive side, play hard and just disrupt. But they've been pulling it out, and I'm just getting nervous. I went at 3-0. I'm like, they got it. Now down when I'm going, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going to happen.
Now you played obviously for a long time, both professional sports, high-end college sports. Do you go with the theory of, well, if I told you a month ago or even a week ago that you'd have a 3-1 lead on the Maple Leafs, you still think that you're in good shape? Do you buy into that if a coach or a teammate says that to you?
I've never played in a series. We played one and dones. So I don't know this. To me, if we were 3-0 and we lost one, I would be nervous as a cat on a hot tin roof going into each and every one of those games because you know how sports are. A shift in momentum can go, can really catch fire. And I've seen it before in hockey. I'm just, I'm not pushing the panic button, but I am a little nervous.
Now, the Maple Leafs are a heck of a team.
Yes.
I mean, it was surprising the Panthers bolted out to that 3-0 lead on them in the first place.
And look, the Panthers aren't getting the heat. They don't get the heat here when they play poorly, like Toronto is getting right now when they're 0-3 with one win. The media's been on them, the fans have been on them. They expect everything, so there is pressure and demand on that team. Panthers, they can just skate in, skate out.
Literally.
Right? That's it.
Well, they're going to have to, bring the offense a little bit more. They didn't have their usual energy, I thought, in Game 4, and I think some of that might be a product of the Boston series. That was such a tough, hard-fought series. They went straight from Boston to Toronto 48 hours later. I don't think the Maple Leafs really knew it hit them. You win those games, you're riding a high, all of a sudden Reinhart scores in overtime, and maybe they were even a little bit, I don't want to use the word stunned because they're confident, but maybe a little bit surprised they had the 3-0 lead in the first place.
You could see some of the reaction of the players. That was a, oh my gosh, look what we just did. Not just, we knew what we were going to do this. You could tell it came out of nowhere for them.
It would be great for the Panthers, though. You talk about Toronto, to eliminate them in Toronto.
No doubt.
Oh, my gosh. Can you imagine?
Because, up in Canada, they don't even think we should have hockey in Florida. Like, they're not happy that we even have teams.
Nothing like watching those Bruin fans when they were walking out of that building, right?
Might have been the quietest building I've ever heard in my life with 20,000 people. You can hear a pin drop in that place.
No doubt.
Samantha, you like the crowds? I mean, it's been pretty, it's been pretty energetic there for these Panther games.
Are you kidding me? It feels like, I'm in another world. The fans are so loyal. They're so dedicated to this team. And I think, it's funny, Bo mentioned, as fans, I think you get a little nervous, but it's because they care, right?
Yeah.
People care. So it's been great to
They need to get UD back. He needs to be the permanent pound the drum.
And he wore the Duclair jersey and the Duke scored.
And he did it like he did it like an All-Pro. He was an All-Pro drum man.
I think we should get you out there in a Kachuk jersey.
There you go.
That's, if it goes 6.
Have to be a little colorful. You guys are a little too
let him
plain
wear
for
the one
me.
you got.
And that's right. Well,
right?
That's going for a charity event. I had the autographed Kachuk jersey. He was in charge of watching it. Did a great job.
I was thinking about stealing it, but I was nice.
How about those Toronto fans? You see that when they were chanting "We want Florida"?
I heard
Then
that.
the Panther fans walking out of Game 3 were like, "You got Florida." That was pretty wild.
That's good stuff, man.
No,
good stuff.
Yeah, it was a lot.
See if the Panthers can stick it to them and get it done. All right, we got plenty more coming up on Game Changers. The Heat also trying to close out their series and reach the Eastern Conference Finals, looking to close out the Knicks in Game 6. That is coming up next. Welcome back to Game Changers. We go on to the hard court now. The Heat had a chance to close out their series on Wednesday night. But hey, it was up at Madison Square Garden. The Heat did a great job getting the 3-1 lead in that series. You knew there'd be a little bit of pushback from the Knicks. So now, as expected, we figured this series would probably go 6 or 7 games. Great competition. And, well, Friday night in South Florida, the Heat would love to eliminate the Knicks on their home court.
I'm going to say they close them out Friday night. I think the Heat, look, even though the Knicks won the last game, I still think the Heat are a better basketball team than them. And the way they've played at home has just been dominant against that basketball team. And look, they've got to get another big game from Brunson. Randall maybe gives you a game. He's been hot or cold. So I'm not so worried about them. I just like to see a game where, playoff Jimmy, scores 30 points, and get Bam in there for maybe 20 points or so, and then let Strus and Caleb and all these other guys that fill in. If you could get balanced scoring around and get a big number from Strus and from Jimmy, not have Jimmy score 12 and have everyone else have to score, to make up for him, but just score the way they need to score along with Jimmy, especially with Bam. If you can get Bam to give him 6, 8 more points going into this game, I think that'd be the key for success.
Yeah, and listen, they had 5 players, I think, in double digits. And you mentioned Jimmy not playing as great, right? He had 19 points, his lowest scoring night in the postseason. I think you really do need more players to kind of step up. But it doesn't help when they're shooting, I think it was about 30% from 3. And then they missed 21 of their first 25 3-pointers. You can't do that. You can't do that in the game like that. So they really got to, come focused. And with Jalen having such a big game, the defense really needs to come in and make sure that he doesn't have a night like that here in Miami.
Yeah, I think the D is a big part of it too.
No doubt.
Jimmy Butler scores 30. That's great,
right.
but you got to stop. You got to get some stops.
And it was impressive they were even in that game in New York, considering where they started from.
No doubt. But look, the one thing they're not going to have to deal with, they're not going to have to deal with the referees up there.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't care if look, they can say they're unbiased, but when they're in Madison Square Garden, it's a Garden game, and they're gonna referee it like a Garden game. They don't do that in the Miami Arena or in whatever the arena is called now, whichever it's an ever-changing building out there on the Bay.
They all are now,
they
aren't
all
they?
are, exactly. It's just move the names around town. But I think the Heat are going to be comfortable at home. I think they'll start out early, and if they can get them in a hole and make them work their way back into the game, I think they've got it well in control. I'm a lot less nervous about the Heat than I am the Panthers.
That's interesting. Now, is that because the other team, or is it more?
It's because the other team, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
If they were playing Boston or something, then
you'd be more worried about the Heat.
Yes. Yes.
Interesting. Yeah. I think the Heat will definitely flourish, with this home crowd.
Well, the one thing they don't really want to do, and again, I'd still be confident.
They want to go back to the Garden.
They could win a Game 7 in New York. I'm pretty confident of that because they do have the best player in Jimmy Butler, and often in those Game 7s, the stars, really rise to the occasion. So we know that he can do that. He's done it before, but closing it out at home would be certainly preferable because in a Game 7, you have no idea what's going to happen.
Plus, you get a little break, you get a little rest time in there. Same thing with the Panthers. If you can close their game out, they get a little break before the next series starts. And at this point during the season, in this point in the playoffs, which team doesn't need an extra day off?
Everybody can use it. Next round for the Heat, though, pretty tough.
It's a little tight. Yep.
I mean, those are 2 really good teams.
No doubt.
Tough spots to play in, but it's really been an amazing run. We're talking about this in the clinching, and they both had the lead, and now teams are got to win. But it is incredible what we've seen 2 8 seeds in our own town doing this.
That's the funny thing about it is both teams have mirrored themselves. They had both had rocky regular seasons. They were up, they were down, and then you got to the end of the season, especially with the Panthers, where it looked like there was no way they were going to get in. And then they finally make that mad dash and get in there. Then the Heat get in, all of a sudden when they get in the playoffs, they're 2 new teams. They're playing completely different than on both sides of the puck and the ball than they did during the regular season. Both teams in our town doing this. Hey, look, if it's going to be this way, have a bad regular season all the time, and let's have good postseason.
It's true.
Maybe the Dolphins should spin that around a little bit.
Hey, we see it all the time. Teams have these great regular seasons, and then you don't have another step to go to. How much, Sam, do you give up for the coaching in this? For Eric Spoelstra and Paul Maurice, turning it around and having your teams ready to play in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. But the funny thing, too, is that you're still going to have haters. It doesn't matter how good these teams are. You have people, what was it? Somebody on ESPN the other day was talking about, it's just too hot.
Oh, please.
That was silly.
Like, what are you talking about?
They were talking last week was the nicest week in South Florida. There was no humidity last week. And don't they play inside in air conditioning? And don't they practice inside in air conditioning? And don't they drive over in air conditioning? Come on. Who's that, Jalen Rose? I'm ashamed of you.
All right, no air conditioning at Dolphins camp, at least outdoors. So more coming up here on Game Changers. We will hit the field. The Fins' schedule is out, and rookie camp is this weekend. Stay with us. We are back on Game Changers. Welcome back, everybody. Time to talk about Miami Dolphins football. Daniel Oyefusi from the Miami Herald, the Fins beat reporter, joining us here. Good to see you. You ready for the hot days out at camp, rookie camp, then the OTAs, then training camp this summer?
Of course, man. We're just getting closer and closer to football.
Well, we had the schedule release, and, with Tua and this team being a playoff team last year, the Dolphins are in the spotlight. Let's first talk about that game in Germany against the Kansas City Chiefs. That's a big one right there.
A lot of upset fans in Kansas City about that one. A lot of upset fans in Miami because they wanted to go to Kansas City. And now you got to pick up and go to Frankfurt, Germany for the game. I'm going to enjoy it out there. It's going to be nice. First time I'd be in Frankfurt, Germany, so it'll be nice. But I hate to see a game of that magnitude really shipped out of the country and played over there, because most people get up West Coast. Where are they going to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and then watch that game?
It's an early one.
A lot of people aren't going to do it. So, I would rather have that game on a primetime game on our home turf and get some other game over there. But hey, so is the schedule makers, and you got to play where they tell you to play.
Competitively, you think it's better? Don't have to go to Arrowhead?
Well, you would think so, because Arrowhead is one of the toughest places to play in the NFL. I'm sure Tyreek Hill is also a little bummed as well. I know that he wanted to go to Kansas City, throw up the peace sign a couple of times for his former team. But this is definitely a clear sign that the NFL views the Dolphins as a big draw. You're playing the defending champions in Frankfurt, Germany, a place where they really want to grow their reach. So it's definitely going to be a fun environment.
I want to know if you two guys are going to get some turkey and mashed potatoes and gravy on Thanksgiving in New Jersey together. We got the first ever Black Friday game. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, of course, they're getting all kinds of primetime games. But how about the Dolphins getting that day after Thanksgiving game?
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, the New York Jets, obviously they're going to be on primetime a lot, national TV games, the first ever Black Friday game. So that's pretty cool. We always usually talk about the Thanksgiving games, the 3 sets of games. Now, after you have a little turkey, mashed potatoes, whatever it may be in your belly, you get the leftovers, and then you get to watch the Dolphins. So that's going to be fun.
We'll be in Jersey City. I'm going to go. There's a little convenience store next there. I'm going to get a Hungry Man turkey dinner, and that's going to be my Thanksgiving dinner.
You can about 3 or 4 of those.
That's going to be my Thanksgiving dinner. But
one's not getting it done.
But the dessert will be beaten up on the New York Giants the next day. The New York Jets the next day. Forgot your Giants are coming to us this year.
Yes, Giants come to South Florida, and it should be fun. There's a lot of big games for this team, and as we talked about, every single game this year in the AFC East is a huge game. Could be a national TV game. All of them, all 4 teams.
No, for sure. The AFC East is like the division of death now. You
look at the quarterbacks, a lineup of quarterbacks there, man.
Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Tua Tagovailoa. Mac Jones,
To a
you know,
lesser
makes
extent,
Tua, I mean, coming off a breakout season, and then Mac Jones, the Patriots,
it's about time New England's trailing the pack now. You know, they've been up at the top, but they can trail back there for a little bit. But I think you look at every AFC East game, and we were talking about before, it could be a standalone national TV game. Every one of those matchups, 6 games there, is going to be really competitive for this division. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to be in this division and watch what's going on.
Daniel, interesting for the Dolphins. Obviously, we all know, there was no first-round pick. Yeah. Only 4 draft picks total, and then they do their thing, and here's the 4 that they selected in the positions. First off, what'd you think about the positions? And is there anything specifically you look for in these rookie camps, or is it just way too early?
Yeah, well, I'll start with the draft. I think that we were all a little bit surprised to see them take Cam Smith, the cornerback from South Carolina, because they had just traded for Jalen Ramsey. You had Xavier Howard coming back, some other pieces there. But the Dolphins are always going to go best player available. In terms of rookie minicamp, I'm really excited to see Devon Achane, who was their 3rd-round pick. He was the fastest running back in the draft, 4.32 speed. We know Mike McDaniel loves speed. So you don't really see a lot in rookie minicamp, but we're going to see that speed for sure.
I'd say the one thing I'm looking at, I'm still looking at that tight end position. They went out in the draft and they picked the kid Higgins from Stanford. Then they picked up a free agent who was a slot receiver that they're going to try to turn. Why didn't they just do that with Mike? I don't want to get into that conversation.
He's in New England now.
Because he's in New England now.
That ship has sailed.
But I like what they've done. And look, you can never have enough cornerbacks for me, especially watching last year. We came into the season flush in that secondary. Within 3 weeks of the season, it was chaotic from that point. So give me as many cornerbacks as you can going into this league. And, I would like to see them dig into an offensive lineman, maybe a little more. I know they got the kid from Michigan, but I'm still very, very concerned about 2 positions on that offensive line going into this season. So I hope they find someone that can step in and maybe you get Eichenberg steps up, or maybe what's his name, the kid, Austin Jackson can fulfill what they expected when they drafted him in the first round. But if those guys come through, then I think this team is really. I think it'll be reflected on what we see as the schedule comes out and the number of primetime games. There's already a hint of a number of primetime games for the Dolphins. To see this will tell you what the NFL thinks about the Miami Dolphins.
2 is the whole story, Daniel. I mean, he is the topic. I know he's been Bo, you've talked about this. He's worked on some things physically, some workouts to maybe strengthen that upper body so when he falls properly. What are you expecting out of Tua? And I know you're not a doctor, obviously, but can the health improve for Tua?
Well, you would hope so. He's been doing judo, like you said, learning how to fall. He mentioned specifically that he's been training in order to sustain the rigors of a 17-game season. I will say, though, on the field, one thing that's really notable is this is the first time since high school that he's been in the same offensive scheme for back-to-back years. You look at, this Shanahan-style offense that Mike McDaniel is running. You see a lot of teams have success in the second year of that scheme. So you have the continuity with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, the play caller. If Tua stays healthy, I think we can expect some big things.
My concern with him isn't scheme. It isn't him throwing the football. It's him being available to play. That's what I'm concerned about with him. And I've been trying to see every picture I've seen of him. I saw a picture of him at the F1 race. Yeah. I saw a picture of him throwing the foot. All I'm doing is looking at this neck and seeing what's his upper body look like now compared to last year. If he can get his traps up there a little bit and give him some stability in the neck, then I think he's got a chance to play 15, 16, 17 games this year. If not, if he comes in with his neck, because I don't think his upper body strength was very good up until maybe this year, which left him vulnerable to that head snapping back. If he can resolve that, there's no reason he can't be right at that same level with the rest of with Aaron Rodgers, with getting Buffalo, with all the best quarterbacks. The numbers that he produced last year when he was healthy were among the best in the league. So if he can stay healthy, no reason to believe, and that would put us right in the hunt with everybody else in there. And I've been looking forward to a season that I'm hoping this is going to be for a long time.
It should be fun. You are a game changer, my man. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it, Daniel.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
We got plenty more coming up.
Tell Barry Jackson to quit poking around, too.
Now, he can't criticize his co-workers. Come on, Bo. Why you got to leave people there?
Yeah.
Trending Roulette is coming up
next
next.
time I see him.
It is time to play Trending Roulette. Kimbo Camper absolutely loves this part of Game Changers.
My favorite.
And I'm going to scroll here.
I don't know how to use Twitter, but it's always my favorite to get stuff.
You just talk about the topics. I pick a number. Bo, you go first. Pick a number for me.
4.
4. Trending. I'm good with. I got the little pen. I can even take that pen out there if I want to. LeBron James.
That's why you make the big bucks.
That is, well, medium bucks. Yeah. LeBron James. That's the trending.
I saw
what do you
LeBron
think?
James. He's a salsa dancer now.
He is.
He's a salsa dancer. He's got a little gig going on there. Got a little mouth thing where he goes in, does a little thing, and you see him. He's got that little,
God.
A little shimmy.
Yeah.
Can you do that one? Can you do that one more time?
No. It was on YouTube.
Can you do that quickly?
I can do that one.
There you. Okay.
You let's go. Let's do some salsa dancing.
Yeah.
That would be game changing.
But there's a video. Go on YouTube. Just put LeBron salsa dancing. I got to tell you, he's pretty good.
Is he?
He got some moves there. Yeah, his hips don't lie. I can tell you that.
Shakira.
There you go.
Wasn't she at the F1 race?
She was.
I think so.
Tom
Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Can you imagine that though? Like,
strange couple, but I think the reports are Tom is the one that's pushing the envelope
You better
on
push
that.
that Scientology back before he wants to do that.
We'll see.
By the way,
funny.
LeBron against the Heat in the finals would be
I'm going to tell you,
else.
that would be good.
Wouldn't it?
That really would be good.
the theater around it.
Yeah. The theater would be awesome with that, and bring it. All those Heat guys would be back for every home game, right?
Right.
Everybody back there. That would be awesome. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
I don't know that I want to see it.
It'd be tough.
Yeah.
Hey, we're not that far away from it.
No.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Samantha, pick a number.
Oh, geez.
That's the easy part.
5.
She says number 5. Trending on my side. I couldn't give away everything that's on my Twitter. That'll give up too much information. Tom Brady. All right, so actually.
We're still talking about him.
Well, the Patriots are going to honor him. Did you see this? They're going to have like a Tom Brady night for one of the games this year.
It's probably going to be one of our games because every time we seem to go up there, they're putting a yellow red jacket on somebody. Every time we go up there, they
Andre Tippett.
They roll
Who else
somebody.
you got? Stanley Morgan.
Yeah, Stanley Morgan. Yeah. I don't know.
It'll be
Tom
interesting.
Brady. Look, the guy deserves everything he's going to get up there, and I mean, Robert Kraft built that stadium, but Tom Brady made it happen. And from what I've seen when Tom Brady, I remember when Tom Brady was there. I think the first time I saw Tom Brady maybe was in the old stadium, and now then they built the new stadium, and now there's a whole town around that stadium.
Right.
They may just turn that into Bradyville, I think, at some point.
Hey, they could. It's kind of nice to see the reunion, though.
It is.
Don't you think? I mean, he goes to Tampa. Obviously, it wasn't, I guess, the cleanest of breakups, but now that he's done, the Patriots are doing the right thing.
Exactly. No, I 100% agree. I think it makes sense, and it's nice to see that it's like, despite all those little, like you said, it didn't end cleanly, and so to see them come together like this, it's like, okay, it's nice to see it happy ending, I guess. Right?
No, they did. Look, I tell you, I joke about it, but they do a good job when they bring those guys back.
Yeah.
They really make a whole day of it, and they've got a Hall of Fame. They're New England Hall of Fame right there, the Patriots thing, and maybe they'll roll out Steve Grogan out there and let him tip a hat
with the
big neck rolls.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, this is just a yes or a no. Start with, is Tom Brady retired from football? Yes or no?
No.
Wow.
Yes, 1,000 times yes.
You say no. Where do you think he ends up?
I don't see. That's a tough question. I have no idea, but I don't think he's done. I don't. I think it's in him. Like
I saw the last game he played.
But
it wasn't pretty.
It wasn't?
I think he realized that, too, when he watched that tape.
But you don't think he wants to come back and be like, you know what, let me end this the way I want to? He ended a marriage over that, you guys.
That's true. For one more year, not a very good year.
Exactly.
No. He could have stayed, I am curious if the perfect situation comes up and of a starting quarterback.
So here you go.
It'd have to be the perfect situation.
Exactly,
Here's what I would say. If you get to week 15,
okay,
and you've got a team that's leading the league, and their quarterback is one of the top quarterbacks, and he goes down. And if they can reach Tom Brady, there you go.
That's what I'm saying.
That to me would be the only type of scenario I would see where, like, a relief pitcher, come on, give me 4 games. Give me 4 games, get us to the playoffs, and our guy will be ready then,
I don't doubt that he's keeping himself in shape.
Oh, no. He's always going to be in shape.
He's always.
Well, he's maniacal,
ready.
crazy.
He's gonna be ready.
Yeah,
but football shape is different than that type of shape,
exactly.
too.
He was playing beach football with Julian Edelman and the guys recently.
He's playing pickleball
Is that
now.
good enough?
You can't go from playing pickleball to going to the NFL. Come on.
But he's showing us
he can put a
what
little
he
pickleball
wants
thing
us
on
to
his
see.
jersey.
Maybe he is keeping himself football shape.
There you go.
We don't know.
We may find out. Hey, Nice to be with you today.
Always a pleasure, Goldie, to be with you.
That's Game Changers.
Especially when it's not chilly.
Yes, it's nice and toasty in here. We'll see you next time, everybody. Thanks for watching.